Good morning. Happy Friday. I wanted to quickly talk to you about introductions, your hooks, and your background information. So for the past few days, you've been working on specifically your hooks. So after the video from 9-2 on Tuesday, nope, Wednesday, I know my days, you learned that you don't use you in your hooks and that we try to not make a question like, did you know that macaroni and cheese is better than chips? So we try not to ask a question like that. If we're going to ask a question, we don't use second person point of view. We also learned that in a narrative, we used first person point of view. So I, me, we. And in argument and informative, we use third person point of view. So hint, hint, nudge, nudge, that will probably come back to you as a test question soon. So you might want to jot that down. So today we're going to work through the I can provide accurate background information. So I'm just going to quickly go back over hooks with you, and then we are going to head into background information. So today your assignment is up on Google Classroom. I will show you that. And again, you have to watch this video to know how to do it. So this presentation will eventually add on thesis statements. So right now we're only going to look at hooks and backgrounds. So I'm going to share with you my prompt that I have. I'm actually going to move this up so we can see it a little bit better. Let's see, here we go. I'm just going to move it here. Okay, so the situation. Many people now use ClickList or online ordering to purchase items instead of going to brick and mortar stores. However, browsing real store aisles often fills people with a sense of joy and satisfaction. So the task, write a speech which will be delivered to the President of the United States of America, arguing whether brick and mortar stores should be removed altogether in the United States to be traded out with online store presences. So the first thing that I have to know in order to write this prompt is, what am I writing? So is it going to be informative, argument, or narrative? So it's asking me to write a speech. So normally that's not going to be narrative. But it does say this word of arguing. So that helps me know, okay, I'm going to be writing an argument. So I'm going to go back in my mind and think, okay, what point of view? So I'm not using second person ever. And then I'm not using first person because this is not a narrative. So I'm going to be in third person point of view only. So I'm not going to use my I, me, we words or you in second person. So I also need to know what a brick and mortar store is. So if I don't know what that is, other than this definition, I might need to do a quick Google search. So there's a reason, though, that you definitely want to do that. So if I don't know anything about brick and mortar stores, I need to know what they are in order to talk about the background information. So I'm going to give a hook in my intro. I'm going to give my background information, and then I give my thesis, which we're going to get to next week. We're just not going to get there yet. So my hook is going to hook me in. So if I don't know anything about this, the brick and mortar thing, I might need to do a quick Google search. So I actually did that. So I pulled this link up and I just literally, you can see what I clicked, brick and mortar stores. And then this first thing is actually not bad. I see it's from this website. It's not terrible. And it tells me that the term brick and mortar refers to a traditional street side business that offers products and services to its customers face to face in an office or store that the business owns or rents. So the local grocery store and the corner bank are examples of brick and mortar companies. So that's helpful. Like Rimke. Okay, so I know that that's going to be one of my brick and mortar stores. Another one, would be Target. Not that I go there often. I do. But Target is a great example. So imagine that Target is gone, which saddens me, and I'm having to shop only online. So the good news for like Target is that they already have an online presence. But the bad news for something that's smaller, like our local businesses, they might not. So that's a problem. So I'm going to go back over here and think, okay, so now that I know a little bit more about brick and mortar, I can start to come up with a hook. So what in the world could I use as my hook? I think that there's two really good options here. So for a topic that I know a lot about, usually coming up with a hook is way easier. But for this one, you might just not know a ton. So if you look back to this site that I was on, some of this would actually be really good to use. So I'm actually going to copy this and I'm going to pull this over, but I can't just leave it like this because this is literally stealing. So I'm going to go back over and cite it. So I do need to click on the website because I need to know where it came from. Now I already looked at this website. I know it's not terrible. So I'm planning on using this. So I'm actually just going to say, because see, it has the author, it has the date. So therefore, I know this is a good website. If like Wikipedia was the first thing to jump up, you would not use that because there's no author. Anybody can edit it. There's no dates really. So I'm actually going to say, according to Chris Murphy, so I'm going to say that, according to Chris Murphy from Investopedia. Oh, now see, look, I have a mistake, and it tells me because it has a red squiggle. So when you see that, you should probably fix it too. Crazy, right? And as I'm going, I'm checking to make sure that I'm using my capitals and I'm using them properly. So I'm saying, according to Chris Murphy from Investopedia, the term brick and mortar refers to traditional street-side businesses that offer products and services to its customers face-to-face in an online store that the business owns or rents. There is one problem with what I've done. I have not put that in quotations. So I need to, because I am pulling this directly from that website. So when you take something that's not yours, which I did, you have to make sure it's in quotations if you're not going to paraphrase. And then you also have to make sure you've given credit. So I have given credit to the author and I've put it in direct quotations. So I now have my hook done. Now I could also go to Merriam-Webster and give that definition. So I could say, according to Merriam-Webster, they define brick and mortar stores as this. And of course, now it's taking forever to load, but you get the premise. So see, I could use just here, which is basically the same thing that my other website found, but I actually found the other site to be a little bit more interesting. So other options, I could talk about an anecdote here. I could use an experience of walking into a brick and mortar store versus ordering online, which I hate ordering clothes online. So for me, brick and mortar stores going away would be terrible. A great example is I had my son that needed new shoes. I needed to go to the brick and mortar store. So in order for me to order, I would have to guess at his size. So I need to take him into the store. So that's one positive of having brick and mortar stores. However, an online store is really nice because I don't actually have to go into the store. I can order diapers, for example, and just get them delivered like off of Amazon. So that's handy. So I could use an anecdote like that. But this is also a great option. So you'll notice I did not give any first person point of view though, because it's not a narrative. And I'm not giving an anecdote hook. If you're giving an anecdote hook, you can kind of get away with that. But if it's an argument, I would definitely encourage you to do something like this because you can easily just Google the information. Also, I quoted and I used proper grammar and punctuation and capitals. So the next thing I need to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and copy and paste this over because I feel like it'll just be easier. So I'm going to go here. So now I've got to figure out what could my background information be. So this is where I'm going to actually talk about brick and mortar stores. So I might say there are many brick and mortar stores around the nation. I'm going to use a semicolon because I love them. Look at me using transitions. There are plenty in northern Kentucky that range from small businesses to large. Some examples of these may be, and I'm going to make a list actually, so I'm going to use a colon. Kroger, Target, Rimke. Is that how you spell it? We're going to rock with that. I don't actually shop there, so I'm sorry. I'm also going to use a Walton store. Dazzled Babies. I'm trying to think of a bank that's around here. I'm going to go with Traditional Bank, even though it's from my hometown, but we're just going to rock with it. And many more. So then I could also talk about some positives and negatives here. So I could say brick and mortar stores are phenomenal. Uh-oh, look at me making mistakes. So I click on it. I go to the spell check, just like you need to do. Don't leave it. You're welcome. So brick and mortar stores are phenomenal. for when someone needs something quickly. However, online shopping can often be superior with their prices. I'm giving a positive, I'm also giving a con, a negative. So you have both there. So now I'm almost done creating my introduction. So this part of the background information is imperative for people that might be reading your paper and have no idea about your topic. So that's thinking back to schema. So if they don't have any schema, you need to provide it for them. So whatever topic, you need to pretend that whoever's reading this is going to have zero schema. So just because you know about the topic doesn't mean that they will. So here's what you're going to do today. You are going to take this prompt, and I'm going to move it again so you can see it. Now, because this is on my YouTube channel, you all can just go there and pull this big. So if you're only watching it on that tiny little screen on my virtual classroom, just click on it and it expands. So you can pause this to see this at the very end. But you are going to write a hook and background information for this. Now, the good news is that you've basically done it. But the bad news is that you probably didn't do it right. So the situation, many schools are moving to school uniforms to help decrease discipline referrals. However, many schools are also finding that uniforms are adding to the financial strain of families. So automatically, if I have never done a Google search, I might want to look up some information about school uniforms. And I also might want to look up the difference between school uniforms and dress codes, because they are completely different things. Like, we have a dress code, we do not have a uniform. So the task, write a letter to the Board of Education arguing for or against school uniforms for the school district. Be sure to use evidence, transitions, sentence variety, high-level vocabulary, and a formal writing tone. So that formal writing tone comes in from not using words like gonna, using the letter U instead of writing out you, using spell check, etc. Also using transitions. I just used them when I was writing mine. So again, if you need to like screenshot this, feel free. If you want to just copy down the example, feel free. So here what you're going to do is take this situation and task, and you are creating a hook and background information, just like I just did, okay? So that is today's goal on the question. So when you go to the Google Classwork, you'll see this. So you're in the Google Classwork tab, you will see this, and that's where you will click on. Now again, I've given very vague instructions on there because you have to watch my video in order to do this assignment and in order to do the assignment well. This is worth 5 points. It's in your work ethic grade. And then after we've done this and I've assessed them, then we will move on to your quiz grades. So good luck with this assignment. If you have questions, please utilize my office hours. Go to meet.google.com and use Sulky office hours at 2. Please do not email me with, I don't know what to do. You can totally email me with actual questions like, I need a little bit more explanation on how to write a hook. Be specific. Don't forget, like most of you have been doing, to use your core and your full name. That's helpful. Also, don't forget that you have access to my Google Voice number. So I was giving that out this morning on map testing. So I'm also going to tell you the number again, 859-780-2464. So you can call me, you can text me on there, and it's just to my Google Voice. So it's just an app on my phone. It's not my actual cell phone. Feel free to use that. But this grade will go in. I am looking for your hook and background. I did put on the instructions to remember that you can't edit the response after hitting submit. So watch this full and then go back and pause. So I'm actually going to end today on this slide so you can see it. And hopefully you can pause and take a picture if you needed to, or do whatever. So I will talk to you all on Tuesday. Have a fun Labor Day, and let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you later.